Hey guys, good to be back with you again. I'm going to do a quick little tutorial here on how to set up your set pieces here if you have a hardcore mode team like I do. So we'll go ahead here and take a quick look at this. You go over here into tactics, which is where all this stuff lives. When you go over here to set pieces, and you get set piece takers. Now you'll notice that I put absolutely nothing on. You may wonder why in the world is that the case. I probably should do this for corners, but the problem that we have is when we sort here by corners. So this, as you know, this is a Muster Mountain skin. There are no numbers here. There's just these little dots. And basically these black dots mean that they're awful, and anything that's a little dot that's a different color means they're a little bit better than awful. Unfortunately, our best corner taker happens to be injured. That's the reason why. So if you want to have corners that are sort of like corners that bend in, you want to make sure that you have a right-footed pushing, taking from the left side and left from the right side. So if we are going to set this up, we would end up doing something like this. And take three of them, put them like this, and take three of them, put them like that. Hopefully I got this right. You can tell me if I got it wrong. We're not going to have the goalie out there taking corners. That's ridiculous. But that's kind of the way that it would work. I mean, our goaltender is up here, way up in the top here. Free kicks and throws, I'm not even going to bother, right? We know that Viali is the best of free kicks, and he's injured and going to be out for the rest of the season. It's not really worth bothering. For corners, so for the corner setup itself, you can do whatever you want. I set this up a little while ago. I probably should actually go back and recheck this for every single match, but I haven't really been interested in doing so. That probably help us out a lot. Go back down here to penalties, and this is another place where we find problems. So we do have... famously in the last game, we had Milo Kalliopa take a penalty, and at first I thought it's got to be a glitch, but then I realized that none of these three players were even in the squad, and he was probably our best penalty taker based upon the numbers that don't really exist here. So that confirms something for me, which is that, like, you know, if you happen to, if you want to have players who are going, if you want to make sure that you have the best player rather to take the penalty, what you can do is you can just assign no players to take penalties for your squad, and what will happen is the game will automatically choose the one that has the highest rating without you having to go and set that up ahead of time. So that's a little bit of a secret that you can have here. The other things you can set up too, if you really want to, you can put in stand-ins for captains if your captains are not going to be on the squad for whatever reason. I mean, Robert Kalliopa plays almost every match. I think he has played every match for us, and we can take a look really quick and make sure of that. See, he's been playing in every single match, and he's been doing well in every match as well. So, I mean, we're not going to take him out. But if needs be, you can take them out, and you can have somebody else come in and stand in for them or whatever. I mean, you know, there's all sorts of stuff you can do. I don't really know about the difference between having somebody with high leadership versus somebody with high teamwork being your captain. Don't know that it really makes a huge difference. I don't think that having NAN instead of Milo Kalliopa as the vice captain would really make any bit of difference at all. I did this mostly because of the personalities, which, of course, it is not. Is it going to show this here? Yeah, so Kalliopa has got a leader personality, and we look at NA, he also has a leader personality. Milo Kalliopa, on the other hand, is a perfectionist, so which is another good personality to have. The nice thing about those leader personalities, though, is especially once they've had a little bit of time in the club, you can rely on them to take players who have a problem and talk them out of their problem. And it makes it a lot easier. Then you don't have to take your good players and release them like I did, or sell them, or do whatever it is you have to do at your level. So that's the basic idea, right? You can create a match plan if you want. I don't know why you'd want to do that if you're actually going to manage the match. There's a lot of stuff here that I haven't used, as you can tell. It's basic idea of what's going on. Other things to pay attention to, of course, as always, are dynamics. Our dynamics are excellent and are getting better. The atmosphere of the club is getting better and better as we go along, despite the 2 draws. My managerial support's not really that great, but I think it's okay for somebody in game who's still really young, younger than almost all the players on the squad. And the other thing that you want to pay attention to is, of course, your hierarchy. Over time, the guys who are your captains are going to rise up. Over time, NA and Kalliopa are going to wind up being team leaders. We know that that's the case, but at the beginning, it might not happen. Fatonu ends up moving up naturally because he's older and he has a lot of experience, right? I mean, this guy's been playing for a couple of years. He's, 30 years old, I believe. Twalalele is a little bit different. 25 years old, and he's been with the club for quite some time. We brought him over, actually, at the beginning from Pago Youth. I kind of forgot about that. So he didn't play with us the first season. But that's the reason why he's kind of moved up. It's because he plays frequently, he plays well, and because he plays well and is on the pitch a lot, he ends up being a more influential player. In contrast, Maile, who is not quite all that influential despite playing almost every match, isn't so influential because we've had a lot of time in which we just simply didn't play with him. So that'll sort of explain that. I mean, when you look at his stats, he had 18 matches the first season, 13 the next, and 3 this season. Interestingly enough, he has 7 goals in 3 appearances this season as opposed to 7 goals in 13 last season. So we've already seen him equal his contribution last year. This guy is good, and this guy is going to continue to be good. I can't tell you again exactly why, because I can't see the numbers, but I think it has something to do with his acceleration, a little bit to do with the jumping reach, and maybe a little bit to do with that balance and his anticipation off the ball. He probably wouldn't be good enough to play in any other league in the world or any other country in the world, but as far as this league is concerned, he was pretty good, not too bad. And you can see he's a maestro. He is a target as a striker, and he also ends up being a fox in the box, a very elusive striker who outperforms expectations, which is what we like to see. Anyway, there you go. That's a little bit on how to set up your tactics, how to set up your set pieces, and how to make things work. Again, usually I don't really care that much about this. Corners I probably should focus on a little bit more. It takes time, though, and sometimes you have to ask yourself if you really want to put this time to get what is a very, very slight advantage. I don't know. Your mileage may vary. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.